Welcome back. It's Mike Myers again with the Five P's and Me podcast. Last I left with you was the game time. Let's go soccer. You wonder why I use that, the game time and let's go and the team player type stuff because, when you any sport you plan, you gotta get ready, man. It promotes readiness, you know what I'm saying? So you know, uh, don't take it personal. It's just an analogy that I use to, help understand, my point. However, let me start with this. Um, Team sports, man. Even as a child, I remember my mom signing me up for basketball, for football, them type of things. I didn't realize it then, but team sports is like parents raising children and to be better, better sportsmen, better players, better individuals, you know what I'm saying? But team sports, with their proper coaching, helps one develop to be a better player, for the team, as well as being a better person individually, you know what I'm saying? Especially if that person listens. You know, uh, Again, I want to title this, little league versus the big league. You know what I'm saying? And I'm making that analogy because as I go on to explain, the difference of, you'll get my point in the development of the character, so to speak. Um, you know, we go on throughout life, man, playing sports and becoming, this or that, professional, even, from the high school to the collegiate to the NBA or, overseas somewhere. However, in development of that, man, we learn how to be, good at what we do, So I want to go on to say that, in little league, man, you really learning the game. You learning the game. You're learning how to dribble. You're learning how to shoot the ball. You're learning how to pass the ball. You're learning how to play defense. You know what I'm saying? And with the proper coaching, again, your game is either going to improve or it's going to stay the same, depending on your determination. So, I assess that at the childlike level, depends on the desire and the commitment one makes, you know what I'm saying? So, and compare, like I said, when you're looking at it from the childlike level, some people never develop their game from the little league, level, you know what I mean? And when I say develop their game, either they don't want to listen to the coach or they don't want to develop their game, or playing sloppy ball. Period. You know what I mean? You're not being a team player. You're not passing the ball. You're shooting too much. Or you're dribbling too much. You know what I mean? A lot of turnover. You're not learning from your mistakes. And in life, man, we can sometimes be stuck in that little league mode, you know what I mean? Being selfish, and that's what I deem that to be when we can't play productively with our team players. So again, man, with that, I want to stress that as we develop, when we develop from that little league play, from that high school, that, little league to high school, that's where we take on different roles. You know what I'm saying? You become, companions with some of the players that you meet. You never knew them from Adam. You know what I mean? But somehow, somewhere, a relationship develops, man. Sometimes it develops all the way up into your latter years in life, you know what I'm saying? But overall, you gain to honor and respect, some of them team players that you come close with, you know what I mean? So um again, here's where you really taking on the role of being a leader, being a team player, you know what I'm saying? Just showing initiative towards the team, here's where listening to your coach, you using the techniques he asked you, you running the plays that he asked you to run. You know what I mean? You're being coachable, teachable, so to speak. And it's like, you know, with again with your initiative, your determination and commitment. you developing your game. Same in life. Same in life, man. You know what I'm saying? You growing as you growing up. You learning how to navigate different people. You know what I'm saying? When I say navigate different people, you know what I mean? And I mean to actually work with them, you know what I mean? And let them work with you, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? No offense. It's gonna be mistakes made, but at the same time you learning how to, use a personable personality. And that's what a lot of us lack in sometimes, man. With a selfish mentality. You know what I mean? We can't get nowhere. We can't develop. We can't move forward. There's no momentum. You know what I'm saying? Because you stuck in that that child, that little league play type mentality. You know what I'm saying? So again, here we go. We're moving on now. You know what I'm saying? You didn't went to high school, you didn't play basketball, you develop friends, you develop relationships. You know what I'm saying? You move on. Let's say you're going to the collegiate level. The collegiate level, here's where the game has stepped up a little bit. You're going to incur, different circumstances and situations, you know what I mean? And where, you're tasked with, having to achieve, in school, having to, you know, juggle, work and school and the sport in itself, and with that college play, here it is, you're still being coached. You're still being coached now. Here you want to develop into a pro player. So what you got to do, you got to learn to do what the coach asks, and do as the play fits. But more so than all, in any sport, it teaches you, you know, position your position. Just like in life, you know what I'm saying? Know your position in life or learn your position in life. It teaches you purpose. What is your purpose on the team? You know what I mean? What's your purpose in life? Flat out. Now, and next thing you learn is to practice, practice, practice. You learn all this stuff that the coach taught you about purpose and purpose and position. Now you practice that. Just like we can do every day. We wake up, man. How am I going to be a better player at my job? How am I going to be a better player? If within my family, I'm going to be a better player within my community. You know what I'm talking about? So again, man, you developing into that individual. You that man now. You know what I'm saying? You that man. You can be anyway, according to how you internalize the things that you learning on that court. You know what I'm talking about? Just like the things you learn in life, period. So we got to continue to take on the mentality of, you know, I'm still in a learning mode, but at the same time I'm learning, what I'm saying? I'm preparing myself for these situations, you know what I'm saying? Just like that coach teach you, man. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do when the full court press come at you, man? That's the pressure, that's them obstacles, that's them, that resistance that you gonna meet throughout life. You know what I'm talking about? So, what you gonna do when you know what I'm saying? You know, uh, you getting double team. How you gonna pass out the double team? How you gonna? You got to know when to shoot the ball, when to pass the ball. That's what a good player in life learns to do, knowing how to navigate, when problems, when mishaps arise, you know what I'm saying? That's what a good navigator do, man. You know what I'm saying? So, now again, you ask me now how can I sit up here and become a big leaguer? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I just gave it to you, man. In the NBA, you know what I'm saying? In order for any team to get to that ship, to a championship, you got to have some key players that know their role, which is their position, that know their purpose. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that, what I mean, if this guard, if the guard doing his thing, let him do his thing. He gonna distribute the ball. He know when to sit up there and feed you the ball. He know when to shoot the ball. He knows when to sit up here and drive, opposing to shooting. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta play together on a collective effort, man. And that's where we missing at a lot, man. We missing a lot when it comes to playing together as a team, man. You know what I'm saying? We get it, we become established. Again, we may have done all the right things in life, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you figure like, man, I got this by myself. When that's a dang on lie, man. Can't nobody tell you they became successful by themselves unless it was passed on to them, with a silver spoon, so to speak. So, playing as a team, man, and learning to dish the ball, learning to give back. I'm learning to, you know, uh, move forward, but bringing somebody along with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what the big leaguers do, man. That's what the big leaguers do, man. Step up to the mic, man, and be like, man, you know what? Shoot, I'm the captain of this team. I'm the leader of this team. So let me show them how it's done. You know what I'm saying? You say you lead by example. Let's go, man. There's a lot of people out here looking for leadership. There's a lot of people out here looking, you know, waiting to follow somebody who got that big league plate, man. You know what I'm saying? So, so once you can, again, my message is to pass it on, to put that stuff back on the table, man, so we can all eat. That's what big leaguers do. Man. You know what I'm saying? You want to stay in that little league, man. That little league don't get you nowhere. It don't move you one way or another. You're sitting up here stuck, still doing the same old thing. You're double dribbling. You're traveling. You know what I'm saying? Violations keep you stuck down in that league because you choose not to promote or move yourself forward, man. Sit up there, have that mentality. Well, look, man, I'm willing to be coached. I'm willing to be sit up there and taught. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. So again, man, big league, man. That's what it's about. Big leaguers, man. Ball out of control, man. That's what big leaguers do. Ball out of control, man. And when I say ball out of control, that means everybody is getting dished the ball. Everybody is getting a reward, man, for sitting up there being a team player, man. That's what big leaguers do. You know what I'm saying? I want to stress, we make mistakes. I make mistakes, still make mistakes, but at the same time, I keep the mentality of keeping, people in mind that might be a part of what I'm trying to do. So again, like this is a lifestyle, man. It's a lifestyle that we all should sit up there and internalize and put it out there to sit up there so everybody else can sit up there and eat, man. Um, Man, that's what big leaguers do, man. You know, that's what big leaguers do. Move forward, man, with somebody else in mind to tap pass the ball to somebody else in mind to sit up there and shoot the ball. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, let me pass. Me got a better shot. You know what I'm saying? Let me sit up here and bring this person with me, man. Who he might know more than I do about a particular job or a particular skill. Let me see what he's talking about. And we got to open ourselves up to that, man. Quit being selfish. That's why we out here seeing our young men and young women misguided and in no direction because ain't nobody out there being a big leaguer to them, man. We sit up there turning our backs to them. You know what I'm saying? But that don't just go for them. That goes for communities, period, man. We see people nowadays and turn our neck because that ain't us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Big leaguers, man, don't do that, man. Big leaguers, a real big leaguer, and I ain't talking about somebody who got it, you know what I'm saying? And just like, oh, yeah, I'm talking about people who in position to help somebody move forward. Remember again, there's that one P, position, man. Because once you know your position, you're going to know your purpose, man, flat out. You know, that position is important, man. You know what I'm talking about? That position is the one that allows you to see that, man, I'm in an area where I got an expertise at, or I got, knowledge at, and I can sit up there and give back, or bring somebody with me, or you know what I mean, bring a team with me. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. So that's what the big leaguers do, man. Again, that little league, man. That's we gonna leave that to those who want to stay, doing the same old things, doing the same old things, expecting different results. That's what the little leaguers do, man. We got to come up out of that mode, man. We got to come up, and one way to come up out of that is knowledge, man. Knowledge of self, knowledge of your environment, and knowledge of your people. And I don't, like I said, I don't care if you black, white, Puerto Rican, or whatever, man. You know what I'm talking about? Knowledge of your people go a long way, and I will say a long way. So we got to sit up here and take in the mentality, the things we got to take in the mentality, the things that mean the most to us, not just me, but us, man. So I that's what big leaguers do, man. Again, with that basketball mentality, with that football knowledge, with that, whatever sport you want to use, that comes into the analogy of you understanding what your position is in life, man. Use it. It ain't even got to be a sport. It could be a person. You know what I'm saying? It could be a situation. It could be a circumstance. Whatever it takes for you to learn the concept of, it ain't just about me. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what big leaguers do. That's what being the shit is about. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, personality, man. Where people want to gravitate to you because you got something that they lacking. You know what I'm saying? You got something that they need. You got something that can help them come up out of that mode, man. You know what I mean? Big leaguers move like that, man. Not caring about um, what it's gonna look like if I had to give back. What it's gonna look like if I stoop down. You know what I'm saying? And to understand, other people's situation in a lower state than I am. You know what I mean? So, man, you gotta remember, man, some of the greatest people, man, some of the greatest people with the sharpest mind that come from places that you wouldn't even think of. You know what I mean? With ideas, with creativity. You know what I'm saying? A mindset. Like, oh wow, like ain't that the same? You know what I mean? Like that's the same guy I remember doing so and such and such. But look at him now, man. He's spreading his wealth, but what he knew. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna stress it much further, man. But that's my mentality of a big leaguer, man. Yeah, big leaguer. I ain't talking about no baller. I ain't talking about somebody who got all this and got that. I'm talking about somebody with a compassionate heart. Somebody with somebody else other than them meaning something. You know what I'm saying? So with that, man, I'm gonna hold you. I ain't gonna hold you, but I will say this, before I end, man. We need to strive to come up out that little league, man. We need to strive to move forward progressively. You know what I'm saying? With others in mind. You know, that's gonna conclude it for this segment. And in the meantime, man, y'all keep this in mind, man. Um, it takes preparation, man. So you know, let me say, I will be having a guest on here. I don't know within the next week or so. Uh, um, a young man who overcame his addiction to alcohol. His story, you know what I'm saying? What he's doing now to stay sober. What he's doing now to, combat, the mentality of one got one to having to have that drink. But anyway, I look forward to him coming on and sharing with you guys, where he came from, how he overcame, and what he's doing to, keep a sober mind. Again, I want to thank, and also I want to thank all my Facebook friends, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I need y'all to like, share, and subscribe, man. If you like it, man, share it with somebody. You know, I'm not coming out. I'm not trying to be bigger than nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting out a message so that we can have the mentality of not just being about self, man. So, um, personally, I'm gonna shout a couple names out. You know, uh, Let's go with Josh Mary, um, Angelica, Kier, Rod Lowe, um, Angela Sparks, and many more ones I can't know, but those who have been supporting me, man, with the likes, with the comments, man. Comment me, man. Let me know what you think of the show, man. I appreciate it. I promise you. You comment, I'm gonna comment back, man. Well, that's it for me, man. Y'all be safe and till the next time, man. 5 P's and meat, man. Mike Mines.